Okay, we are recording. Look, how are you today, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right, mate. Whereabouts are you?
I'm calling you from Perth in Western Australia. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun is shining.
Nice. Is that home?
This is home. Yeah, this is home. My wife, my kid, and my dog live here. We've lived in WA for about a couple of years now, and that's what the locals call it, by the way. WA
Yeah.
stands for West Australia. And yeah, we've been living in this house here for about a year, and yeah, we love it.
Oh, nice, nice. No, I'm aware of WA. My brother's lived in Australia for 20 odd years, and
Lovely.
yeah, he's over the other side. He's over. He actually runs a venue. He runs a live music venue called oh God, what's it called? The Hoey Moe in a place called Coffs Harbour.
No way, you're kidding me. Does he run the Hoey Moe?
Yeah.
We that is like one of the the core little pub slash venues on the east coast of Australia. It's just got this beautiful little reputation of being bonkers crazy every time. Like
Oh, you know
a
it then? That's
we
crazy.
know we've been
Yeah.
there. We've been there plenty of times. I think I'm not sure if we were asked to play there once, like unofficially, but it didn't line up with our schedules. No, we've been there a bunch of times. It's in Coffs Harbour.
That's it. Yeah.
We've been there a bunch of times. We used to like rent out an Airbnb a couple of years ago. This particular one where we would just all get together and do some writing. So we were out of the house and on a bit of property, so no one would make some like no neighbors would complain, and we would always go down to the Hoey Mo for a beer and hang out, and have some food. It's an awesome pub. That is so funny you said that.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, my brother would be absolutely chuffed to hear that, man.
Let him
Uh,
know.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, look, let's kick off your playlist,
Yeah.
and we always do this the same way, look, and I'm going to ask you what you regard as a
Mhm.
song that has the greatest ever intro, please.
I mean, you're starting off the bat with one of the most intense questions I've ever
Everyone
had
says
to
that. Every
answer.
guest says this is the one that really spun them
It
out.
it gave me I really had to kind of contemplate it a bit. But I ended up, and I'm like, this is just my opinion. I'm sure everybody else has. Hell's Bells, AC/DC. Absolute ripper of a song intro.
What an Australian start to the podcast.
I know. We actually used to we used to walk out on stage to it, especially the Aussie shows, because it kind of has this little ambience that rises, and then it's the dong dong, and the Aussie crowd just goes, fuck yeah, like they know what it is straight away. And an awesome guitar riff. It's iconic, and yeah, it's one of our favorites as a band for sure.
So when AC/DC were writing these kind of like elongated, long, expansive, epic intros, the way that people were consuming their music and the was way different to how it is now with streaming services and
Mm,
such.
yeah,
Which makes me think that it puts more pressure on artists now in the world of Spotify and such, and even apps like TikTok that are utilizing music. There's so much pressure now in a
yeah.
world of shorter attention spans
Short
with
content.
generations coming through.
Yes.
Short content. That's an even better way
Yeah,
of
yeah,
putting
yeah.
it. Like,
Mm.
does that put any pressure on you and the band lock to how you approach songwriting and the intro?
I mean, I I feel like I've been asked this a question similar to this before, and I'll give a relatively same answer. We just want to express ourselves as we see fit. We don't like to be bogged down by the social norms, what is potentially popular at the time. Of course, there's a little bit of decisions involved in. We can't make a bloody 5 minute long intro before the song even starts. Hey, maybe we can, but it is about attention span. There's a limit that you reach,
Yeah.
but we've never felt ever hindered by, um, you know, the new kind of well, yeah, it's not really a movement. It's more of a social. Uh, how do you even explain it? Everybody's got this short content feeling. Everybody wants the quick information. They want it there. They want it in their brains,
I
and they
think
want
it's
to move
just
on.
that technology's evolved for for generations coming through.
And I agree. And we've never felt that there's been any sort of pressure to conform to that. In one of our previous albums, Can't remember which one actually, but we had an intro track. It was, I think it was called, um, bloody hell, the names escaped me. But it was designed to just be the whole track was the first opening one of the album, and it came all the way through, and then the first song started on song number two with lyrics and stuff like that. So I think for an artist to really express themselves, there is a point in which you have to think about, okay, yes, there is a certain amount of conformity I need to do, but like you have to express yourself. That's the bottom line. And you have to do as much as you can to get out what you feel. And if that takes a little bit longer than what people are used to, so be it. Some people will like it, some people will hate it. You can't please everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I'm going to ask you to tell me the first song you remember hearing that had an emotional impact on you, please.
Um, it would that's I tossed up a bunch of different artists actually in songs for this. I'll start with a little backstory. My dad is a massive Dave Matthews fan, loves Dave Matthews. And every Saturday morning, he would be putting on music, whether it was Bee Gees, James Taylor, Dave Matthews. And I remember he had like albums and albums of all these great artists. Every Saturday morning when I was sleeping in, he was vacuuming the floors at like 7 a.m. Like, come on, Dad. And he would blast the music. So I'd wake up to the sounds of vacuuming and music. And one of the ones that I heard, which resonated with me, which I loved and fell in love with for a very long time, was number 41 by Dave Matthews. But I'm very particular about it because it's not the studio version. It's a particular live version. It has Victor Wooten, who features in there on the bass. And I think he's with his band, and I may be mistaken. They're called Bella Fleck and the Flextons. Um, for some reason, this very particular live version of it, just they nail all the solos, the of it, the expression. You can find it on YouTube. The audio quality and the video quality is, should I say, just around when the internet was born
Yeah.
almost. But there's something about the feel, there's the expression of all the artists up there, the crowd interaction, and it's just something that's really resonated me with for such a long time. And I every now and then putting and just getting taken back to the good old days, not a worry in the world. I'm waking up on Saturday morning, I've had a whole week of school. Dad's blaring music, he's vacuuming, oh morning, sleepy. Like like I'm like, mate, it's 7:30 in the morning. You just got me up with a vacuum. So that has got to be that's one that kind of tugs on my nostalgia a lot. And I'm a very nostalgic person, so that was an easy choice. Yeah.
What was the emotion if you had to actually sort of,
Well, it would be, I don't know if nostalgia is, it's just being content, being happy, knowing, feeling that I'm loved, feeling that I'm in a great spot and with my family, and it was just, there wasn't a worry in the world. I could do what I want. I could see my friends. That you wake up when you're a kid and it's Saturday morning. You're like, I got 2 days to have time before I'm back to school. How am I going to start my day? And the mornings, those mornings when he would play those musics, particularly Dave Matthews track, it was just I couldn't think of a more peaceful time in my life.
yeah, growing up's well overrated, isn't
It's shit house. I can't believe I was looking forward to it.
it? Well, look, in which case, they're staying in the formative years for a little longer. Look, tell me the song that reminds you of your time at school, please, mate.
So this is a bit of a left of field one. I racked my brain a little bit for this. One that kept popping up was this song called "Sorry You're Not a Winner" by a band. Ari, he's clapping. Me and my mates used to be like hardcore heads back in the day. We would go to hardcore shows along our where we grew up in the Northern Beaches. Listen to lots of just local bands and thrash our heads and get in the mosh and fight dance and all that stuff. We had the best time, and it was really reflected us in that period during school, especially the later high school years. But the track from Enter Shikari, it bounced around our school for weeks and weeks, and teachers were sick of it. putting their CDs on and blasting them at the window in the cafeteria. Oh, well, teachers were sick of it. But every time I hear that song, I just think of lining up in the cafeteria and some guy just with a CD player over his head, just going, yeah. People sat in the cafeteria going, turn it off, we can't hear anyone. It's such a core memory for me.
Oh, mate,
Yeah.
what an incredible band they are as
Mm.
well, and continue to be. And I've been so lucky, like on this show. Like Raoul's been on a few times. I've had a lot of the lads on, and got to see him at Ali Pali, which I know you're playing soon.
No way. That's really cool.
Over in the UK. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, that track, I run a venue as well, like not in Coffs Harbour, unfortunately,
Hmm.
but we still drop "Sorry You're a Winner" like every
Yeah.
Friday, and there's kids now that are 18 that track's probably nearly 20 years old now,
Yeah.
and they still wait for that little moment where it goes like where
Tap,
you just
tap,
get
tap.
the pre and then
Yeah.
it goes and it's just
I love
great
it.
and like
Yeah.
and that early like such a DIY video to that track as well
Hmm.
where they look like they're just in someone's front room all just going fucking mad. It's brilliant.
I think it was also one of the tracks which I really appreciated with the combination of that kind of that really strong metal singing. Like they had that really nice voice mixed with the screaming. And I was like, it's so cool, like how they can just mash those together. I was like, I want to do that.
So let's talk about school for a little bit. Look, like
Mm.
was that an enjoyable experience for you?
Yeah, I think on some level I was pretty indifferent about it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It's just a thing that my brother was in the year above me. He's also in the band. He's the rhythm guitarist, Mitch. Um, the singer Baden also in the year. But the rest of the boys in the band, like they all went to separate schools. We all met at the beach. We weren't necessarily school friends, but school in general was always it was what it was. I didn't have any super feelings about towards the end of the school, my school life. I was like, get me out of here. I want to, see what the rest of the world has to offer. I wasn't a very academic person. Didn't really like English or maths or I liked science. I liked learning about how things work, but I was just horrible pen to paper. I was more into the art. I loved the music. I loved acting. I was like the only boy in my acting class, so the teacher kind of had a soft spot for me, which was really nice. There was a bit of allowance given to me in certain situations, which was great. But I think you do really find yourself or begin to find yourself in those later years in school. I was younger years of high school, was kind of a bit nerdy, and then as you call you, just like the last year, you go from year seven, early high school, to year 12 in high school. I really kind of, I guess, over that period of time, came out and started to express myself more, and started to feel like I you know, was a bit cooler than I may have thought I was, and started to just be a little rough around the edges and try and do all the naughty stuff. But it was yeah, school was school. It was a period in my life that I'll never forget. But I I think the beginnings I think it was the beginnings of what kind of to define me as a person.
In school, did it was the idea of music as a career a realistic mindset at that time for you?
What was realistic for me in school, especially in high school, was I wanted to be an actor. I loved acting. I loved being I loved performing. And before our very final exams, years before it, I knew that I didn't need to pass the academic stage of it. I just needed drama and all that kind of stuff. So, and my parents knew that as well, and so did a lot of my friends. So I didn't do particularly well in the maths and English and stuff like that. I was like, drama, acting. This is what I be. I want to be an actor. And of course, I'd been playing piano ever since I was a young kid, always, almost every day. And I loved music, and I really loved that. And I came out of school acting's the thing to do. And it was during that time post high school where I perform as a band, but I was studying to be an actor. And it was kind of this like pull, my acting was pulling the music and they were kind of like battling each other. And lo and behold, after all this time, it's music that came out on top. But now, in hindsight, when I really think about it, I think I just wanted to perform. It wasn't necessarily acting on music there. I wanted to create and I wanted to perform the arts that I created. So yeah, it's eye-opening retrospect, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to ask you, like, to tell me the first
Hmm.
song you remember buying from a record shop, please.
Almost a slight level of embarrassment on this one.
This one's the one where it's
It
got
was
to be embarrassing, man. There's no cool points in this question, ever.
it was actually an EP. Excuse me. It was the Black Eyed Peas, the Funk album. I had got a Walkman for Christmas, a Discman, whatever you call it. Like the latest thing, I was like, I'm gonna get it. And I played these 5 tracks on repeat, 4 or 5 tracks, I think it was, again and again and again. And not even, it's funny, it wasn't even the old Black Eyed Peas. It was like the Fergie era when like, but hey, it's the first thing that I got, and it's the only piece of music I could take with me when I wasn't at home. And man, I just rinsed those tracks. I don't think I told anyone else that I had that CD either.
Oh, it's out there now, brother.
Yeah, it's out in the world. Yeah, the internet's written in ink, so I'm screwed.
Well, look, one of the other things that sort of comes with those sort of formative years of growing up and becoming an adult is the kind of is venturing out into bars and clubs. And so for this track, Locke, I'm going to ask you to tell me the song that soundtracked your years going out to clubs. And I should stress for people that are listening to this show for the first time that this question isn't like always directed at kind of neon clad clubs playing techno. This can be your local rock club. This can be your local dive bar. It's a pretty generic question, look.
Added that at the end because we never really to clubs at all. Actually, we were quite far up from the city. It's like an hour and a bit bus ride to get in there. So, and we grew up on a peninsula around a lot of surf culture. Kind of community. And so nobody really in our area was interested in going out to this clubbing scene. But we would go is to like parties. There was house parties every weekend. Once you turned 18, you were texting everyone because all you had back then was text. Nobody gave a shit about. I don't even think Facebook was around by then. And we would text each other and be like, "Where's there a party? It's here. It's here. It's there. It's over here. Who's going on? It's this person's party." But we would always put on 50 Cent and one track in particular, Many Men. And that every time we'd go out, you would crack some, I'd get a pack of beer, I'd have half of it, and I'd be like, I'm fucking hammered, I'm Many Men. And get at our mate's house, and his parents would come, "What's the beer too, lad?" Like, "Oh, we're having fun." But it was always it was like state rap. And there was also like I've got to even pack. We kind of went through this little rap era of when we went out to party, and we thought we were so cool. And mate, hell, it's cool music. It's great music. But Many Men by 50 Cent was one that just hung around. And every time we put it on, everyone would just go, "Oh, many men, ding ding ding, wish death upon me." And it would be a full sing along. It was awesome.
Love it, love it. It's so interesting how you talk about those formative years that, in the UK, yes, of course, we'd all go to house parties, but like what we didn't have with it always being so fucking cold here is like the fact that so much of like where you said you met the other members of the band, the way that you just said I met them at the beach. And it's
Mhm.
like, we go to a beach like once a year for a holiday. And it's like, and I just love the fact that surf culture and,
Yeah.
and beach culture is so intrinsic in the sort of the socializing and being key in them formative years. It's so interesting.
Well, it really was like, especially in the area that we grew up in, the band. Like, we all grew up in a really short kind of, sorry, close radius of each other, and just everyone. every most afternoons, definitely every weekend, it was get down to the beach. That's where you meet your friends. That's where you hang out. You get up to no good, and it was ingrained into that culture and that lifestyle in that particular point on the northern beaches. Um, and the parents were involved, and people would come to the zones to go to the beach, and it was our spot. And you're like, oh, these blow-ins from out in Sinai beach and stuff like that. It was this little grungy surf culture, kids walking around barefoot all the time, sunburns as far as you could see. It was such like an important part of who we are now. It's like it's a cornerstone of our personality, and a lot of the same, with the people that we grew up with. It's it's hard to imagine ourselves if we were born any differently.
Love that.
Mm.
Love that. Well, look, I'm going to take you home for this track, and I'm going to
Hmm.
ask you, like, to tell me a favourite song from an artist from your home county.
Well, I picked a song, and then I actually realized they're not even from the country. They're from our neighboring country, New Zealand. This track that I've picked, and it's not necessarily like question, because I'm the kind of guy that doesn't have favorites. I love it all, and it depends how I feel at the time. But this song kept resonating in my head. It's Multi Love by Unknown Mortal Orchestra. Um, they're a fantastic band, really cool. Um, they don't put out heaps of music in terms of quantity, but the stuff they do put out is always superb. And this was a track that I fell in love with really quickly. I loved the chord progressions. I loved the lyrics. One of the most actually, and has the line is one of my most favorite lines of lyrics ever in the world. And it goes, crashed into your heart and trashed it like a hotel room. And I just thought, I was like, that is fucking smart. Really well done. And it's got this beautiful kind of this teaser, dun, 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 and it just goes, really syncopated beat, and it moves. You tap your feet. The guy's voice is amazing. But yeah, unfortunately, I realized a little bit too late. I was like, that's right. They're not Aussie. They're from New Zealand. They're Kiwis. But I will have to just claim Aussies have this weird thing of sometimes claiming like um, Kiwi artists, like Crowded House. We're like, oh no,
Do you
it's
know
kind of
what?
this weird little joke
It's
that
it's
goes
so
on in
weird.
Australia.
It's so weird you say that.
Yeah.
When I first went to Australia, we drove from Sydney up to Brisbane
Mm.
via Coffs, and I was like, right, let's just. I want to really embrace this like this drive up the coast. Let's put some Aussie music on. I was like, right, throw on some Crowded House. About two songs in, my wife's like, they're from fucking New Zealand. I was like, oh shit, yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I did actually.
So we've got this weird Australians have this strange complex of like, no, they're actually Australian, but they're really not. So I'm gonna have to throw it to unknown mortal orchestra. Like, yeah, you're one of us guys.
I was quite lucky for the
That's just
500th episode of this show. I had Neil Finn on, and and I
yeah,
did
right.
I did tell him that story. I was like, look, mate, this is what
Mhm.
happened, and he took it on the chin. He was cool with it, man. So I feel like if he's okayed it, then it's fine now. So you can have unknown there. You can have
Yeah,
unknown Mortal Orchestra, mate. It's all good. It's all
yeah.
good.
I hope this interview gets to them when they just go, thanks, man. Cheers. We'll take it. The way around.
Love it, love it. Well, look, I'm going to ask you for your final track now, and it's a track where you get to turn the listeners of the show onto something new, and I'm going to ask you to tell me a song that you think many may not know that you would like them to hear, please.
Yeah. Well, again, like all these questions were fantastic. This one was one that I really had to think, that I had to, because I've got so much music just saved up, Spotify, of stuff that I know people might not enjoy, but I really like it. And I was kind of just going through my playlist, going, what's going to be one that's going to kind of resonate with people the most, and what I most. And I settled on a bloke from New Zealand called Moroki, and his track "Found in Nairobi." He is such a talented musician. We met him as a band when we played at a festival in Raglan on the North Island called Soundsplash. He was just a punter at the time, and we were sitting up on the hill, and he came and introduced himself to us, not really genuine, like nice guy, just wanted to come. He had a chat, took some photos. He's like, I'm a massive fan of the music. We're like, thanks. And, it was like a year or 2 years later, he popped up on the in Australia, Triple J, and we're like, huh, that's so funny. We met that guy, and he started put. He's got some real vibey, easygoing stuff, and the stuff that get on the radio of his music is really, you tap your feet. It's got a good feeling to it. It's kind of summery. But if you dig a little bit into his discography, you find this track. And actually, I'll have to give credit to our singer, Baden. He actually showed this one to me. He goes, hey, have you heard this track of Moroki? It's one of the most beautiful of his generation have written. His, mine, probably mine. I think we're all kids. It's soft. It's thought. It has this really nice, just like something, you kind of like you're whispering to a lover or something. It's a beautiful track. Would urge anybody that listen to New Zealand, check this guy out, Moroki. He's got great works, but in my personal opinion, this is one of his most stellar tracks. Found in Nairobi. It's a beautiful rendition.
Well, we make it nice and easy, Lock, for people to go and listen
Mm,
to that because we put together a little Spotify playlist with all of the tracks that we've been speaking about today. And of course,
awesome.
we'll be putting some of your music on there as well. So with
Hmm.
that in mind, what's happening with your music? We've been banging on about everybody else's. Like, what's going on with you?
Well, we just released an album. It was, what's the date today? We released it 4 days ago on 18th. A Love Balloon. It's out in the world. We're really excited about it. This track is called Drenched, which is a bit more of a nostalgic take on some of our music. But yeah, we're kind of in this new era um, of music that we've been wanting to play for a long time. We've been playing a lot of our for a bunch of years now, and we know the fans love it, and we love playing it too. But we really felt like the listeners, the punters, even ourselves need a bit of a refresher. So we're super excited that the new album will be heading over. Actually, I'm literally playing tomorrow to London to play Ali Pali in a couple of days. So there'll be a bunch of tracks from the album on that. So if anyone's in London, please come along.
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely. And if people want to find out all other stuff, future releases, singles, like any other shows, where's the best place to keep up to speed, mate?
They can jump on any of our social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, any of that. Usually have that has the quickest updates and the links to all the special stuff. Otherwise, we have a website as well, which I think is on our social media. So I can't quite. It must be oceanallyband.com or something. I think. But yeah, if anybody has any kind of inkling to go to a show or buy merch, social media is the best way to go. And yeah, all the information is on there.
Fantastic. Well, look, if any of the listeners aren't following the band already, we'll tag you in it when this episode comes out and make it nice and easy for people to go and keep up the speed with everything you're doing. Um, Locke, it's been a real joy talking records with you, mate. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for giving up your time today, mate.
No, thank you for inviting me on. It's been a pleasure, and I've loved answering your very thoughtful questions.
Pleasure's all mine, my friend. I'm going to press stop, but don't go anywhere.